Cinematography is the art of camera movement and composition. From lighting to filters and even body language, this is all within the category of cinematography. The story of cinematography is fairly simple in and on itself. Back in 1895 with the Lumiere brothers, they created the camera and projector, and when it went public, people started experimenting with it and even mixing some photography skills into it. Cinematography is important in many ways. It helps the movie by conveying meaning and emotion to how the camera is placed on the subject. I chose this project because I think that movies should be analyzed to be better appreciated. If you were to study the composition of the camera, foreshadowing and symbolism of the movie, it would have much of a better viewing experience. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. What is this movie? This movie is a spaghetti western movie directed by Sergio Leone, and the music is composed by none other than Ennio Morricone. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly have great cinematography as it shows tension in frames greatly. You can feel tension within duels or conversation. Oh man, I don't really have much time for this, but on the opening scene, you can get a close-up of a person and others on the other end. You expect them to be banging on each other, but the closer they come, the more clear that they aren't here for each other. What happens is that they come into the saloon and gets shot by the ugly. In the introduction of Angel Eyes or The Bad, they sit down for breakfast and they eat quietly and without talk. The camera closes up to their face, and then suddenly the other guys are speaking and the tension is all released.
I want to live in peace, understand? There is no use to go on tormenting me. I know nothing at all about that case of coins. Now that gold has disappeared, but if he'd listened, we could have avoided this altogether.
Well, Jackson was here. Or Baker's got it all wrong.
In the final duel of the movie, which is a very large skip from the last scene, the three-way duel, the good, the bad, and the ugly looks at each other as they create tension with epic music. The tension is created from the fact that you don't know who is going to survive from this. It's a three-way duel. At least 2 or 1 people will die. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a good movie to start if you want to study about cinematography and tension. It shows tension very clearly. This movie is very popular in the fact that it has been referenced to many times. Now I'd like to talk about Shawshank Redemption. What is this movie? The Shawshank, not Shankshaw. The Shawshank Redemption is a movie adaptation of Stephen King book named Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. It is a movie about a man named Andrew Dufresne, as he was accused of a murder and sentenced for life in prison for a crime he didn't commit. After some event that killed his student and friend, he escapes from prison. The light in the movie represents hope and it shows it well. The morning after Andrew Dufresne escaped, he was gone from his cell, similar to Jesus as he leaves his tomb. There are more similar events in the story that I wish to talk about. As I said, the light in many scenes symbolize hope. You can see Andy and the others enter the prison as they line them up. They made them face away from the light source, symbolizing that they no longer had hope or something like that. As Brooks leaves the prison, the camera is shot towards Brooks and the prison, as he still wants to stay. He got used to the life in prison so that when he leaves, he is unable to adapt. While Red, when he leaves the prison, his camera is shot outwards as he looks forward to the outside. In Andy's escaped, he enters the sewage system and exits. The manure can symbolize the sin, and the rain washing it off is him being washed off his sin. He also exits out of the hole as a symbol of rebirth. If you want to learn about symbolism in scenes, this is a good start. The scenes have many religious symbolism and it is amazing. I love this movie and I recommend it to you. On to the final movie, The Godfather. The cinematography of this movie is nothing short of amazing. You can tell the character development of the protagonist by the lighting itself, but I should really start from the beginning. In the opening shot, it was black screen as a man tells the Godfather what he wants. The overall atmosphere is very dark, but when the camera goes into the wedding, it is very bright, happy, and etc. etc. The contrast can signify how they are still a family celebrating a wedding like normal people, but can be filled with mystery and secrecy like in the opening shot. This is where our protagonist Prime Michael Corleone is introduced. Very happy, smiling with his girlfriend, enjoying the party and showing his innocence. Large emphasis on the happy part. Normally, when someone dies in this movie, they are always in a dark setting. Take for example the baptism murder scene. The people who are to be murdered and are in dim settings. Even Vito's eyes are in dark as he is mysterious and has dark business motives and yada yada yada. It will set us off when someone dies in a bright setting, which is exactly what happens in the Polly murder scene, where it is very unexpected, and the car explosion scene in Sicily. Michael's face is more enveloped in shadows after the hospital situation, and even more when he finds out that a certain policeman has removed them. As he planned the murder, his face darkens until the murder itself. Because of the murder, he went to Sassanai, where he meets his wife, and the darkness goes away. As you can see, the environment is very bright and happy. But when his wife gets murdered and he returns to America, he goes back to his dark tendency. When you take a step back, you realize that the fight against good and bad became the fight of bad and the bad, as Michael turns from war hero to the leader of a mafia family. Michael has become the new Godfather after Vito's death. What he looked like now is much different than what he was before, in the beginning. He is enveloped in darkness like his father Vito, and then people arrived into his room greeting him as new Godfather, and the door closes on his naive wife who just realized it. The door closes on his naive wife who just realized what was going on. As the door closes into darkness, the black screen is similar to the beginning, as it tells us that the story is to repeat itself once more, or that Michael has lost his innocence from the start of the movie and have fully become the new Godfather. Cinematography is very useful as it can ingrain an idea into the viewer's mind. Cinematography is great in the sense that it increases viewing pleasure. With different cinematographer comes different styles and objectives. Wes Anderson liked to give this childish and absurd style to his movies. Tonino Delli-Colli, the director of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, with close-ups and tense music. Roger Deakins portrayed hope on the characters and religious symbolism into the movie. Gordon Willis liked to use lighting to convey development of his protagonist. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was about tension in movie. The Shawshank Redemption was about symbolism in cinematography. The Godfather is about character development in cinematography. Next time you watch a movie, be sure to analyze it, as I think that it is best to be enjoyed as so. Thank you.